Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's the Touchdown Crew. It's week 17. This is the last week of the regular season of football. How you doing, Mike?
Today is my Super Bowl, so I am having an amazing day. It is going to be a great day, a great finale, and hopefully, well, I hate to say it, but hopefully a man is jobless tomorrow, and the Chicago Bears are on their new head coach search. So I'm living, I'm thriving.
Okay. I'm not gonna say it's been a crazy week. It's been more of a, what should I say, a AB week since he pulled his little.
It's been a week for you. It's not an unexpected week, but it's the week of all weeks for you, most definitely.
Yes. So we'll start back on Sunday with Antonio Brown. I know everybody knows this. You know what happened. A man went on the game, took everything off, chunked the deuces, ride off. Next day, he chilling at the basketball game in New York. So after everything that came out, AB said what he had to say.
Right.
The people jumping on sides, everybody saying mental health. But then now it went from that to, well, I was hurt. Buccaneers said the training staff said he was good. He could have went. He could have played.
Right.
It was more so about his money. So you had the back and forth. You had his lawyer talking. Then, excuse me. And then you had that Friday. AB goes on and say, "Hey, me and Tom Brady's not even cool. It was just because we played football. Hey, I'm the best player on the team." And da 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 da. So what do you think? Now that it's Sunday.
I think it's an odd situation. I think there was AB is and whether it's mental health, whether it's CTE, whether it's just AB and who he is, he's very quick with his emotions. He doesn't really sit on things. I feel like I'm the kind of person, it really takes a long time for me to feel some type of way or have some type of animosity towards someone, like a long time, because I really sit on those feelings, and I feel like you might be the same way. I'm not about to just pounce on somebody just because something's not going the right way. AB is a very quick reacting person, as we've seen many times, whether it was in Las Vegas and Pittsburgh and now in Tampa. So it's a situation to where I don't know if I necessarily agree with him, but we've seen time and time again where guys, like Calvin Johnson and many others who can't actually physically go, but the training staff will tell you you're good enough to go. So if the rumors are true and the MRIs are real of him, having a fracture in his in his ankle or something, and they're telling him that he can go after getting, coach, I know you won the game and it was a great comeback, but at that time, getting bodied by the Jets, I don't necessarily blame him for not wanting to suit up, but to do the stunt that he pulled was just a childish move. And at that point in your career, you're not a rookie anymore. You're supposed to be one of the leaders on this team as a veteran. And it just makes zero sense. Like if Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who are half your age, are telling you not to do that, and they have to tell you that, like that's a bad look. So I'm not agreeing with anything AB did. But if the rumors are true that he physically is injured and Bruce Arians was trying to force his hand in that, I find that very weird, especially with, how he not babied, but he babied Gronk back. Like he never put Gronk on the IR. Every single week he gave Gronk an opportunity to see if he was healthy. But then AB has a fracture in his ankle and it's like suit up or get off the team. Like if those rumors are true, I get it. But there needs to be some kind of validity to it. And I don't think we'll ever know the real story.
So let me ask you this, Mike. You play football, correct?
Yeah.
If you was hurt on the sideline, who do you talk to?
Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody.
Okay. So let me. I don't know. I forgot you're from Chicago. So this is how it works.
Popped out my shoulder and popped that shit right back in. Like, you go.
But this is how it works. Usually in Texas, when you come to a coach, and you got it right, sir. When you go, you say, "Hey, coach."
Oh yeah, we didn't have those. We didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might have been different in Texas. I coach receivers. If the receiver coach says, "Hey, my hamstring, my ankle," first thing we're gonna say, go see the trainer, because we're not a doctor. That's not our job. Our job is to put the best out there and get ready for the next play and put these kids in the best position to win. So you go see the trainer. How many trainers did you see around AB?
No.
How many trainers tried to talk to him?
Not a single one.
So
well, that you could physically see at what they were giving you, you didn't see anything. I don't know if there was.
So my thing is, he could have probably been good going into halftime.
Mm.
Of course, everybody knows if you have an ankle injury, you got to stay moving. Like it's like a 30, 45 minute break. You have to stay moving. If you don't, it's gonna stiff and tighten up on you.
Right.
So when he came back out, now next thing, Mike, let me ask you this: you played football.
Mm.
How many coaches in the heat of the battle that said, "Get out, get away from here"?
I've been told that many times.
And how many times did you leave?
In all my days, I left one time, and it was only a practice.
So what'd you do?
It's one of those situations where you kind of just you look at each other and you understand you are not going to talk to each other for the rest of the night. Like physically, like you'll hear the plays called, but you won't say a word. And I personally, I just ride it out. It is what it is. And then we'll have a discussion about it probably the next day or on the bus ride back. But you don't walk out.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Well, like you said earlier, and I'm not. You're a professional, and there's levels. Like the head coach doesn't make the decision that you play.
Right.
It's the training staff, because you got to realize one thing about it is you got to go through the doctors to get approval. Because if you don't, that means the NFL will fine you, the commission will do all this, and that, and you get in trouble.
Right.
Because it's at the end of the day, it's by player safety, blah blah blah.
Coach, do you find it a little odd though? Before you keep going, like I just thought, you have a fractured ankle, Coach. You have a fractured ankle, and you can't go because you can't move, and you don't have mobility, and you feel like it's gonna break, whatever the case may have been. And then you run as fast as you possibly can to the middle of the end zone and jump like 7 feet in the air.
Right.
Dude.
Right.
Your ankle's fine if you can do that.
If he had a fractured ankle,
that's what I'm saying, though. You know what I mean?
I wasn't entertaining it. I wasn't entertaining.
No, but that's my point. Is you looked fine when you jumped 7 feet in the air with your shirt off and did peace out every single person in the stadium, like that. Now, if he limped off into the locker room, that's a different conversation.
Yeah. But the thing
he
is,
did a little stunt and he looks fine.
I understand that, but the thing is, everybody knew your ankle was messed up.
Right.
You've been out 7-8 months. 7-8 games, and they was doing treatment. And you even in the text message said, "Hey, I'm in treatment with the staff, but boom, right, over my ankle." Here's the thing about an ankle that I realized: you can only cut certain ways if you have a hurt ankle. Right. I sprained my ankle, and I told the coach, "Hey, I can run this route on this side of the ball.
Yeah,
but I can run everything else." Because when you cut, say, I don't know, it's your left ankle. I don't know what ankle it is, but say it's your left ankle.
I don't think it's either ankle, but go on.
I can't run a corner route because I got to stick off that foot. I can't run an out route because I got to push off that ankle. So, but I can run everything to the right side. I can run I can run verticals. I can run a hitch and everything else because my steps it lands on my right leg. Now that happens, but you have to realize, me being a coach, I've said it plenty of times. Then get out of here. Then get away, especially in the heat of a game.
That's that one that makes me tight though. That get away, like you talking to me like I'm a dog. Like I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
But again, what people don't realize,
right?
When you're in the heat of when you're as a coach.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
The game, it's more.
You think about it now, and it's like, man, like like get away from me, bro. Like I'm still trying to do what I'm doing with what I got then. But it's like when you hear that and you're hurt, it's like, bro, like you got me like mad tight right now. Like I get where he's coming from, but it's like at the same time, coach, did you expect anything less? Like let's be real here. Like when you brought AB in last year, this was the expectation, and honestly, you went 2 years without it happening. So
if you look, I mean, and this is being honest. You look at the Raiders, you look at the Patriots, and you look at when he came to Tampa.
Forgot about the Patriots.
He didn't. It wasn't when he went. It's kind of weird to explain. Like he hasn't really done anything outside of football. Like he never walked off the field, or he just didn't show up.
No, New England, he definitely did. Remember, he got into a fight with one of the workers in the New England staff. He just got into a fight with him. I think he was like one of the painters for the building, and he just got into a huge altercation with him. Like that was weird to me. Like that was. Yeah,
but what I'm saying is like it was nothing. He didn't do anything on the football field. Like when he was there, he was good to go.
Right, like this was the first time you saw like actually in front of fans like AB acting up. Right.
Yeah. And my thing is, one thing I would always say about AB is about his money. He's gonna try to get his money by any means necessary. That's the whole thing in Pittsburgh. That was the whole thing in the Raiders. Like he was getting his money outside of football.
Right.
With all the stuff that he was doing. Now, here's the issue that I had by AB. The one person that had your back, you did, and which Anthony said. You threw him under the bus.
Right.
Because AB got you, Tom Brady got you the job in New England. Tom Brady got you the job in Tampa.
Right.
But let me ask you this, Mike. Take away the sexual assault or harassment or whatever. Take that away. Take the professional football player. Just say he's a regular dude. How many people you know that don't pay bills? And how many people you know act a fool when they quit?
There's everybody in Chicago. There's everybody in Chicago. Like that's just how it is, Like it's weird.
But you see what I'm saying? For what the things he done, he's no different. The only issue is that is about AB is he doesn't think he's wrong. And no one reprimanded him. No one took anything away. No one really punished him. But I don't want to talk too much longer because this is all everybody's been talking about. Here's my last question on that. Do you think he's gonna play again?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Why?
I mean, we're talking strictly this season. I obviously think he will get another contract in the NFL. That's just a given. Especially with these circumstances, it's more of like, all right, well, maybe there was some validity to it, but they'll find out. And then if it's BS, then coaches will know that and front offices will know that. But I think Green Bay gives him a shot. I truly do. Lazard has not been healthy. Cobb has not been healthy. It's just Adams. It's just Rodgers. It's just Jones and Dillon. I don't see any reason why Green Bay doesn't take a shot on him because, Coach, we've said it time and time again. The front office in Green Bay understands like there is a good shot that this is the last dance. Now they don't know, but they're going to try to keep Aaron Rodgers. They've made it clear they're trying to keep Aaron Rodgers. But there's a good chance that it's the last dance. So if it truly is the last dance, you got to do it just like the Bulls, and you got to bring in your Rodman. You got to bring in that final punch that could help you win the championship, to help you get to the NFC Championship again and then win it this time. You've lost the last 4 straight that you've been to. So you need Antonio Brown. You don't need to baby him. You don't need to coddle him. It's just an experiment. It's a one and done game, basically. Like, if we win, we move on to the next round. And if we lose, then you're done and you're never going to be a part of this team again. Like, it is. And they'll probably get him for a million.
So you think in playoffs?
I'm thinking playoffs because it's a situation. Yeah.
If you got a fractured ankle.
Hey, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. I'm telling you, like you said, money speaks volumes, and trust and a new coach and a new coaching staff and a new department. That's AB's big thing to me. Is I just think AB doesn't like being somewhere for too long. He just can't maintain friendships and maintain relationships because, like you said, when you're right, you're right. But when you're wrong, you're still right in the mind of Antonio Brown. Like, he is always going to be right. Like, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans saved this guy's job a couple times. Tom Brady got him that job, and now he's coming at it all of them. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I'll say this time and time again, whether it was Aaron Hernandez, whether it was Tom Brady, whether it was Antonio Brown, I've never heard one person say anything wrong about my boy Gronk. I'm just throwing that out there. Not one person throwing shots. I didn't see one tweet about AB talking about Gronk. So shout out to Gronk being the realest dude in the room. But no, in all seriousness though, Coach, I think maybe you agree, maybe you don't. But the way the Rams have been playing, the way the Cardinals have been playing, Tampa, unfortunately, losing AB, losing Godwin. Fournette's always, week to week on what you're really going to get production-wise.
He'll be fine.
No, I mean production-wise. Like, you really don't know. It's either going to be really good or really average. But and Gronk is always, his health is always questionable. So it's a situation to where the NFC is really open right now, and the Cowboys are a question mark. No, it is, Coach, and I'm sorry, but it is. And it's a situation though where if the Packers were to bring in AB and he could just shut up and play, like, just don't argue with Rodgers, don't do whatever, just do what you got to do, I think they win a championship.
So what you're saying right now, the number 1 seed, 13-3,
right?
Future repeat MVP won't make it.
Did he make it last year? Did he make it the other 4 times?
No, he didn't.
Nope.
So you'll take that risk and put AB in there.
It's not really a risk because if it doesn't work, you take him out and then it's done. Like, there's nothing. If he comes to practice and he's acting like an asshole, it's done. Like, get out. You know what I mean? So to me, you have Rodgers, who's been off the field issues, but when he's on the field, nothing. And the same thing with AB. When he's on the field, it's nothing. 99% of his career. This is the first time you've seen something on the field.
Okay.
And if he can't go, if he's actually hurt, that's a different conversation. But if he's not, then why not? Because that's just my big thing. Like, you're good enough to be 13-3, Coach. Like, you're good enough to be a back-to-back MVP. But what you haven't been able to do is win an NFC championship, go to the Super Bowl. AB will take you there. It won't be solely because of AB, but Devontae Adams gets freed up. And if he doesn't get freed up, AB's freed up, Lazard's freed up, Jones is freed up. Like, you got to do something.
Okay. No, I mean, that's fine.
That's just me, though, because we talked about it before. When they didn't go on for Odell,
I don't think they did go for Odell.
They lowballed them. They didn't go as far in as they should have. And I felt like that was your opportunity to really do something. You're getting a second chance and getting AB, because that's the best guy that's probably available in the market right now. Your number 2 option is Randall Cobb at the age of 33, 34. You got to do something.
Okay. I mean, I think regardless, I think the offense, you take Green Bay. you get what you expect with Green Bay. Even last year, they didn't. AB's not. I don't really think AB will make a difference to get you over the top.
That's my thing. Though.
I actually like their receiver core. The receiver core Green Bay is not bad. They got an easy.
They're just not healthy.
The issue is the one thing about it, what people don't realize, it's about matchups.
Right.
Green Bay doesn't match up well against Tampa.
And
here's why: you can't run the little flat routes with the screens. You can't run the ball. So now Aaron Rodgers has to really throw routes. And I think that's the thing why I say it's not necessarily wide open. It's everything that is truly just about matchups.
Right.
Like Arizona can beat the Cowboys, but they can't beat the Rams, can't beat the Bucks.
Right.
But we're not even talking about that right now. Moving on. So here's the question. We'll talk about Saturday's games. Kansas City versus Denver. Do you think this is a disappointing season for the Denver Broncos?
No. I think it's a disappointing season for the Denver Broncos defense. I felt like they really depleted in losing Von Miller, going to LA. Kyle Fuller didn't work out. Bryce Callahan hasn't worked out. Patrick Surtain, the second, is a dog. Simmons is a dog, and others are. Chubb is a dog. But other than that, to have Vic Fangio and me being a Bears fan, I understand who Vic Fangio is and how much of a mastermind he is. And I just continue to see this defense regressing and aging and getting away from everybody. And it's just that's a bad look to me. But at the end of the day, it's like if Drew Lock is your questionable QB1 going into the season, that's a problem. And I did get my buddy just texted me saying that the Broncos just fired Vic Fangio. I don't know if there's validity to that, but that's basically what I just heard. But it's a situation to where if that is true, it's a bad look. It's a bad look because as much as I don't want to give Vic a pass just because he was in Chicago and he's my guy, but it's a situation to where you gave him Drew Lock for 3-4 years, and then Teddy Bridgewater couldn't remain healthy. So it was a situation to where I'm just looking at it and I'm like, dude, you never gave this guy a shot. If they go and trade for Deshaun Watson this offseason, I feel like they are going to be serious contenders. I truly do believe that. And at the end of the day, you can only do with what you're given. And you talk to me about that all the time with Matt Nagy. If you have 3 quarterbacks that are all, rotationable, it's you really don't have a single one. And that's the big problem with the Broncos is you're only going to go as far as your QB can take you.
So, how do you feel about that? People just said he just got fired.
I don't see Vic getting another job as a head coach. I don't see it happening. I think for Vic to get another head coaching job, there needs to be an established offensive coordinator and there needs to be an established quarterback. There needs to be somebody. It needs to be a perfect blend of what you're trying to do. Otherwise, I just see him going back as a DC. The Bears would love him back. We'll always take Vic back. Always got room for you. But I don't know. So I think that's unfortunate. I liked Vic. Vic's a good guy. He's a good head coach. He's a player's coach. He's a great guy. Hard-nosed guy, blue collar. But at the end of the day, to not be a part of that offense, not being a part of that team, and to still not have a quarterback, that's where there's a problem because you need to be, if you're the head coach, if you have a QB1 like Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, like Tom Brady, it is what it is. You don't really need to be that involved. You just need to kind of have an OC and then have an idea of what you're doing, and Tom and them will do it, take care of it from there. But if Drew Lock is your guy, you need to be involved and you need to be invested is because, this kid doesn't know what he's doing. You know what I mean? So you need to be there. And he wasn't. He was just focusing on his defense. And that's why I think he's not going to get a second job.
Okay. So let me ask you this. And I know we didn't even, no, I asked you after this because I don't want to I don't want to forget the Cowboys because everybody loved the Cowboys. I got a fan. That's the first thing you popped up on the thing.
51 points last night. 51 points last night.
Cowboys versus Eagles. Are the Cowboys back? Because last week it's funny and it's real and it's real crazy. This is how, like I said, they live in the moment.
Right.
2 weeks ago, Cowboys blew out the Washington football team, and it was Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. Then you backdoor and lose to the Cardinals. Oh my gosh, we suck again. And this is just, we're talking about just Cowboy fans.
Right.
Then now they won last night. Hey, we back. We back. Look at them. They come out the woodwork when you say Cowboys. So, what's your take on the Cowboys? Did you last night game? Did that show that they are playoff ready, or it was just, hey, you just played a beat up Eagles because they set players also?
I think it just speaks more volumes to who the Eagles are. The Eagles are a playoff team, but they're like the Chicago Bears of playoff teams. They're not ready. They're not there yet. They're a one-dimensional team. You know, outside of Jalen Hurts' run game, you don't have a run game. I don't care what anybody says. Like going into the playoffs by that, you know, like the stats will tell you that they run a decent run game and they decently can run the ball. But in the playoffs, you can't count on Miles Sanders. You can't count on Jordan Howard. You can't count on those guys. And that's just being real. And that's from Jordan Howard's biggest fan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the only one with a Jordan Howard jersey out here. But it's definitely a situation to where it's the Bears jersey at that too. Don't get it twisted in the comments. But it's just very unfortunate to me to see this Eagles team the way it is. Because that defense has just been aging since the Super Bowl. You got to think this is the same defense with Fletcher Cox since, what was it, 2017? 2017 since they won that Super Bowl. And they're trying to run it back as much as they can, but the problem is they were waiting so long for a quarterback. It's the same situation as the Bears, coach. Like, really, it is. It is, because with the Chicago Bears, you know, it was defense, you know, and you're struggling with Nick Foles, and you're struggling with Andy Dalton, and that being Carson Wentz. And then you finally get a Jalen Hurts, a young guy like a Justin Fields. But unfortunately, the defense has been aging, and this kid's not fully ready yet. Now, Jalen's a step above Justin right now. Don't get me wrong, but as he's been there longer. But it's a situation to where even Jalen's not ready to take the mantle to like being the face of this franchise. He's not there yet. Now, hopefully, he will be. But as of right now, he's not. And that's the problem, is when your defense is now aging and your quarterback is still being groomed, it's a situation to where you can't rely on either of them, really. And then that's where you have to go to the run game. And Miles Sanders, we're going to just leave it at that. I'm just going to say the word Miles Sanders, and you tell me if you think he can carry this team, because that's just not what it is. But yeah, I think it speaks more volumes to who the Eagles are. The Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys. Like, they're going to – if the entire NFL was the NFC East, the Cowboys would win the Super Bowl every single year. That's just how it is. Like, they would. And they play very well against their rivals, which is hats off to them, because I'm struggling with that right now. Like, I've barely beaten the Lions. So it's a situation to where it's a good win. It's a good look, especially late in the season, dropping a 50 burger. Like, that's nice. That's nice. 51 points is solid. But at the end of the day, you have to look at it and you have to understand you're not doing that against Tampa. You're not doing that against Green Bay. You're not doing that against the Rams. And the problem with it is it was more of how many points did you allow kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to hold the Green Bay. You got to be able to hold the Rams. You got to hold all these guys that have high-powered offenses, especially Tampa. I left them for last because they're in a box of their own. They were. But, you know, it's a situation.
But continue.
Were. But it's a tricky situation, because I look at it more as like, what are you going to do when it's a real box office team? Because this was more of a, like you said, there were some practice squad guys playing in this game, whether it had been because of COVID, just resting guys, or injuries, getting banged up in the middle of it. You saw Devontae Smith go out for a little bit. So it's a situation to where I wouldn't get too hot and I wouldn't get too cold about it if I was a Cowboys fan, but it's a good win.
To be honest, what I really truly believe, I think it was a great. I'm gonna say it was a good win.
Right, very good.
Good win for the Cowboys. Here's the only issue that I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch the game past the halftime. I'm not gonna watch this crap because it started getting out of hand. It's more.
I saw Devontae Smith leave and I turned it off.
It's more Dak. When I watch Dak, he was late on a lot of throws. They're freestyling. There should have been 2 picks because the receivers ran the wrong route than what he expected. So I think that's one of the things they have to clean up. Another thing, running back Zeke. I don't understand why he's holding the ball in the wrong hand, and he can't miss the 1-on-1. For some reason, he couldn't. Like last night, it was a lot of 1-on-1 open field, and he gets tackled.
Right.
Because one reason you got the ball in the wrong hand, so you can't steal for him, you can't do anything, and then you just fall down. Like those are really the 2 things offensively that I looked at. Defensively, they'll be fine. One thing, but the only thing I said it from the beginning of the season, they don't have anything up the middle. They got pass rushers. They rush you wide. But you now going into the playoffs, you gotta put pressure up the middle because now think about it. Jalen Hurts is probably the weakest quarterback that you're gonna face.
Right.
And I'm just trying to think off the top of my head.
No, I don't think they're deep.
Because you got Rodgers, you got Brady, you have Murray. You got Stafford, which is a thrower.
Right. I don't know why I'm blanking on NFC teams right now, but
maybe Jimmy. It's Jimmy.
Yeah,
depending on. So you think Hurts is gonna be the weakest quarterback that you're probably gonna face? If you face him, depends on how everything falls out. So basically, you could first round Jimmy Garoppolo or Murray or Stafford,
right?
Depending on how this day ends. And I think that's going to give them a lot of trouble because, like I said, you got to put that pressure up in the middle. But they got to win, man. You play the people who you put on your schedule. I know someone said earlier they beat the Pats, they beat the Chargers, they beat Philly twice, which is true. They did, but I was never, and Michael said because he always talks about it. I never sold on the Patriots.
No.
So I think COVID.
I think it was cool.
I think COVID helped them, helped the Patriots a lot because a lot of running backs were out during the time when they played them. But again, like I said, I wish them nothing but the best. So here's my question. We done talked about the Cowboys. God dang, messages was blowing up. Cowboys. So, and you're right. It's not how you play the game. It's if it's you win or lose. I think the biggest thing is not how you play it. It's also who you're playing.
Right.
Like if you play Green Bay and you win, that's a win. Regardless of the situation, you win. If you're at the Super Bowl and it was ugly and you win, that's a win. But if you play the Eagles, which is the weakest team going into the playoffs, that's where it's like, okay, how do we fare if this was Green Bay? How would we fare if it was this? Like, because then now you got Diggs who gives up the double move. That was one of the things. So we all know today is the last week. And what happens on Monday, Black Monday, that's when everybody fire coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my question to you. Other than Chicago, we know Denver just fired their coach. Who else you think will be gone by Monday?
It's an interesting conversation because I think some of them are going to be a little bit later, if anything. Like Pete Carroll is a situation to where I think it might be a little bit later down the line just because they're trying to figure out the Russ situation. I think that's more of if Russ leaves, we'll clean house. If not, whatever. Like we'll remain in this weird limbo phase of we're a good team, we're a bad team. Like it's weird. But I think Zimmer is the first one that needs to be fired before Matt Nagy. Because Matt Nagy made the playoffs twice. Matt Nagy won Coach of the Year. Matt Nagy went 12-4. Like Zimmer has done nothing. And let's be real, Coach. He came in to the Vikings organization as a defensive-minded coach, and not once have they even sniffed the top 15 defense. So, like, you've had several years doing this. He came in there in, I believe, 2013, 2014, and he hasn't done a lick of nothing. Like, not one playoff berth. One or two playoff berths. But in the Kirk Cousins era, he's had 0 playoff berths. So you literally told us the reason why you weren't going to the Super Bowl is because you didn't have a quarterback. All right, well, you got a quarterback now. This kid, from the stats, statistically, is one of those guys that can get you there. But you, time and time again, you just fall short, and you're getting out coached. Now, not one time did I say they had it in the last 5 years. Did I say they're a top 3 defense or a top 2 defense in their division? It was always Green Bay at 2 and Chicago at 1. Like, that's just how it's been. And now even Detroit's defense is looking a lot better and a lot more, not disciplined, I would say, a lot more disciplined than you see with the Vikings. Like, I'm noticing that a lot. So Zimmer is my first guy, like, has to get the axe. The Cowboys, I think, are, I'm going to ruffle some feathers and we're going to lose a lot of viewers. But I think it's definitely a conversation to have about McCarthy. Because I just don't think he understands how to utilize the players he has in his room. That's always been his issue. He's a good coach. Don't get me wrong. Like, he is, the players like him from what I understand. And he's a cool guy. But at the end of the day, like, I get you have Pollard, but Zeke can't be getting that money and just messing around. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. We can't have Ezekiel Elliott getting 20-yard games. Like, that's not in the realm of possibilities here. And it's just a situation to where I just feel like he doesn't put Dak in the greatest, positions to be great. So I really do want to see a little bit more from them. And there are a lot of options out there. But I'd say Nagy, Zimmer, obviously Fangio was one of them. Now he's the first one gone, which I don't really remember the last time that happened. Right before game day.
No, he's over. Who?
Vic Fangio.
He played yesterday.
Oh, he played last night. Okay, that's why I forgot. Yeah. He played yesterday. They played in the afternoon, no?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't see that game. See it. But
they played not the late game. They played the early game.
Yeah. That's why I didn't see that game. I didn't know they played an afternoon game. But that's why for me, I guess that makes sense. But I guess, Coach. But still, the same day on a Sunday, you didn't even wait till Monday. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a weird conversation.
It was the Broncos Monday.
Yeah, but I guess. But I'd say it sounds, call me crazy. The Robert Saleh experiment is an interesting one too. I like Robert. I think he's good. I'm a big defensive coordinator guy. I pride myself on knowing the majority of them. But it's something where. Yeah, I like knowing a lot of them, but the ones I'll pay attention to, like, if you ask me who's the defensive coordinator in Jacksonville, I'll tell you to kick rocks because I don't care about Jacksonville. But it's something to where with Robert, I get he needs time to build something, but in the situation of Zach Wilson right now, I feel like you need a lot more than a defensive coordinator as your head coach, and you're gonna very quickly become Vic Fangio if this kid doesn't pan out. So I think Robert Saleh is a question mark. That's all I'd really give right now. I'd say McCarthy, Nagy, Zimmer, Saleh, obviously Fangio and Myers were ones as well that got fired, but I think right now Pete Carroll is the one question mark for me.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because all them guys you name except one, they're all defensive guys.
Yeah.
So do you think that this is getting to the point where it's going to be the end of the defensive head coaches?
I think it's getting very close. It's getting very close, and the main reason I say that is because these offensive coordinators that become head coaches bring in good offensive coordinators for the most time. Like Matt Nagy scraped that. Like whatever it was. You know what I mean? But the majority of the time you're starting to see like Pete Carroll brings in good OCs, other individuals bring in good OCs that Kyle Shanahan has great offensive coordinators. He's the overall offensive play caller, but he has good people feeding into his ear. Whereas the defensive coordinator makes a hire, and you've seen it time and time again, like Lovie Smith with the Bears. But he's my perfect example. He went through 6 offensive coordinators in 7 years because he just can't stay out of their way. He can't stay out of the business. Like he's always trying to involve himself, or he's not doing enough, or he's not doing, he's doing too much. Like you have to find a perfect balance of someone who understands what it's like to run an offense. And I feel like that's when we're starting to see these kids come in. And mind you, they're like 35, 45 years old. They're not kids. But compared to like Arians and compared to Belichick, like they're kids. Like they've never coached in the big leagues like that from a head coaching perspective. And they bring in good talent around them. And with defensive coordinators, I just feel like they always get the job and then don't know what to do with it. And maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, but like Vic Fangio, he got the job and just kind of chilled out. Like he didn't go out of his way, to get a quarterback. Like he was not aggressive and he was compliant with that. He was always focusing on the defense. Coach, let's put it into perspective. Here's when I thought Vic Fangio was fired. Now, with the Bears defense in 2018, you had Bryce Callahan and Kyle Fuller. Great corners, right? Great DBs. You have Simmons, who's a Pro Bowler. Great DB you have in your secondary. He's a great safety. You have another guy that you already brought in free agency. So he's great. He's another great corner. You could put him at the nickel. You had an opportunity to get Justin Fields, Mac Jones, and hell, you could have even picked Keelan Mond. And I would have been like, okay, you took Patrick Surtain the second. And I get Patrick's good. But when you only really need a quarterback and you went in defense again, that's where defensive-minded coaches are kind of screwing themselves because they're, again, focusing on what they care about, not the team's needs. And Surtain was a want, not a need. You needed Justin Fields to save your job. You needed Mac Jones to save your job because it would give you leeway the next few years. Matt Nagy right now, very early on in the year, they're saying maybe we give him another extra year because we need to see what he does in year 2. Now with Fangio, Teddy Bridgewater's a free agent. Drew Lock, we know what that is. Like Drew Lock had one of the best runs of his career last night, and unfortunately it was Vic's last game with him. But that's not going to be consistent. So
I think getting Mac Jones or Fields wouldn't have saved this job because I think Mac Jones is what Mac Jones is. He is a game manager quarterback.
No, right, but it's the idea of having a rookie quarterback. You would get a little bit of leeway with it. With this, it's like you just stayed compliant. You stayed pat. You were like, oh, I'm cool with a 1-year Teddy Bridgewater. And then you mess around. Here's where you messed up. You mess around and win 5 games right off the bat to start the season. And now you're in a place where it's like, okay, well, now we're not drafting a quarterback next year because we're going to be contenders. And then by literally 4 more weeks go by, and now you're 500 again. So it's like, to me, it's like you need to figure out what you're trying to do. Are you trying to tank or are you trying to win? And Vic Fangio's in a weird position to where I don't think he cares for either way.
And sir, you are right. He did take him to the Super Bowl. We're talking more now. I just truly believe
it elevated very quickly.
Yeah, but if you look at all of the coaches that are talking about getting fired, they're all defensive side of the ball guys. And I would say this: you need more of an offensive guy because offensive guys, you have to make the decision: do we punt or do we kick a field goal? Do we go for it? They make more of a decision than defense because what is defense going to think? Let's punt the ball. Let's play defense. Right. And I think that's where Fangio messed up in Denver. He didn't know anything about the offensive side. He couldn't have conversations with even the news. When they asked him, he couldn't answer those questions correctly. He couldn't give you enough information to feel secure that he knew what he was talking about. Now, defensively, he knows he stayed majority of his time on the defensive side. But as a head coach, you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what everybody's doing. How can you put yourself in the best position? And again, you're right again. Nagy was a guy with offense. Yes.
Right. That's a whole different boat.
But the thing about, I think also, which is really mess up the enemy is because of Nagy, because it was not also Nagy, it was also Reed.
Right.
I think Nagy needs a veteran quarterback.
Right.
Because he can't coach a rookie.
Well, he gave him too.
Yeah. Like, honestly, truthfully, you take Brian Leftwich. I think Brian Leftwich should be a great OC. I mean, a great head coach. Because he called the plays. He had I'm sorry, Winston. Winston wasn't bad. Winston put up great numbers, but he also put up interceptions because he was just chunky.
Right.
And
Here's
then,
like my coach. Would you say, not to cut you off, but would you say like the Nagy situation, and it happens a lot. It's not just with Andy Reid's people. It's with Bill Belichick's people. It's with anybody who's been a coordinator for those guys. You know, even Bruce Arians probably has some guys that's going to come out later on and try to be head coaches. But you look at it, I look at what you did with Bruce Arians. I look at what you did with Andy Reid, what you did with Bill Belichick, and with Matt Nagy, where I think it's different between him and Eric Bieniemy is Eric Bieniemy was actually the offensive coordinator when Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl, went to 2 and won an MVP and looked like the most high-powered offense ever. That's a resume. Where Matt Nagy, what did you do with Andy Reid? Not a single thing. Not a single thing. And Patrick Mahomes didn't even play when Matt Nagy was offensive coordinating for the Chiefs because he was just riding on the bench as a rookie. So I look at it more of what did you do the years you were with Reid? You never really won the Super Bowl. You were never a great playoff team. And that's why I think Bieniemy's different.
The difference is with Nagy.
He just used the name, but he didn't.
Nagy needed a veteran quarterback in Chicago. He didn't develop a rookie.
Right.
Like when he got there, you gave him pretty much rookie quarterbacks.
So he gave him a year 2 guy.
Yeah, but I mean that's pretty much a rookie because once he comes in, now he has to start over and teach his offense.
Right.
So I just think when I think Nagy messed it up because he was supposed to be the guru, this, and that, and then now.
Right, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
The enemy's not gonna get it because he's still under that same umbrella.
Right. I think the enemy has the reputation though of we won championships. Like we've done it.
And when you look, that's true, but you still have Reid right there.
Right.
Like that's the thing. I mean, that's what I truly believe. And when you go back and you say the coaching tree, you say Belichick.
His coaching tree sucks.
But his coaching tree is he had exception to the rules. If that makes sense. You had Brady, and he took pay cuts. He did this. When you got guys like your best player does that. I said all the time, when you got somebody that falls in line like that, guess what happens? Everybody else does. They try to take that same approach somewhere else. It doesn't work because you got to have your leaders fall in also.
Right.
And I don't care who you, and this is the honest truth. I don't care who you put in Chicago as a head coach. If your general manager and your president are not on the same page, then guess what? Because usually what happens when the head coach is fired, usually the general manager is fired because they're in there together.
They promoted Ryan Pace, so we'll see what. I don't want to talk about it.
But I just think I truly believe that I think this is the dying breed of defensive head coaches because it's a more offensive driven game and offense makes more decisions than you do on defense.
Right. And it's unfortunate because it is fun when you're watching defensive heavy games, but it's just we're just in a superhero type era right now where guys are running 4 flats on a regular basis and guys are throwing 80 plus yards on a regular basis. Like, say what you want about our boy Josh Allen. Josh Allen can whip it. Like, Aaron Rodgers can whip it. Patrick Mahomes can whip it. Justin Herbert, they're throwing it downfield at a very, very accurate rate. And that's just a problem that's not going to go away. And that's something you need to bring in an offensive coordinator to be able to maintain.
Yeah, I agree so much. So moving on, who is one of the most, not one, but maybe more disappointing teams this year in your eyes? And we're not talking about the Bears. We already know that. Next.
No, I knew what we were. Coach, I said it from week 1. I knew what we were. The New York Giants. The New York Giants were bad to me because it wasn't even for how you played. It was just unfortunate. Like, this was the year to find out if Daniel Jones is your guy. That's my opinion. Like, I think this was the year to see all the cards are on the table. You got Saquon back. You got Kenny Galladay. You got all these other great wide receivers, and you have Evans and Rudolph and so on and so forth. Like it was gonna look nice, and this was a year to where you could at least go into the off season knowing now we focus on offensive line. Now we get ourselves, guys for Daniel Jones, and we're gonna set him up. But now Daniel Jones can't stay healthy. He looked strong in the beginning of the season, and then he kind of fell off a little bit. It's just an unfortunate circumstance, especially with Saquon's health, especially with Kenny Galladay's health. But they should have known going into the season that's what it was. Kenny's always been injured. Saquon went through something very serious. And
you want to be successful, you gotta.
My bad. I pressed the wrong button.
I was like, who's here? But I don't know. I'd say the Giants just because, like you said earlier, like the Eagles are a playoff team, but on paper, should they be a playoff team versus any other team in the NFC East other than the Cowboys? I would say the Giants are more of if you had to put it paper to paper, I would say the Giants are a step ahead of them. Very, very small margin, but I think they are. And they just couldn't get over the hump with injuries, and it's just really unfortunate to see that.
Why?
I was gonna say Miami, but then they went on their little run, so I ain't gonna say Miami.
I think Miami was disappointing to me. I think Miami is very, very disappointing to me, just because I figured going into year 2, a stable offense.
Right, Flores is on the hot seat too.
You got some new toys. You started out, you beat the Patriots the first game. Okay, here we go. Now you looking what you're expecting, and you went cold for like 4 or 5 games straight, and then you try to catch hot again.
You went 0-7 and then 7-0.
Yeah, so I think truly Miami, a little bit very disappointing. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. That's pretty much really it. Because like I said, I didn't expect the Browns to be good. I think they are what they are. I think the Washington football team, if you want to say disappointing, I say the defense to a degree. I didn't think they was going to be that bad. I thought they was going to be okay. I thought they was going to be above average. But that was disappointing.
I would say this one's a little obvious, but the Raiders probably take the cake.
Well, I didn't expect much out of them at the beginning because they've always.
I hear you, Coach. I hear you, but I didn't expect this.
But to make the playoffs?
No, I didn't expect John Gruden and Henry Ruggs and Josh Jacobs, all the DUIs and all that stuff. Like that to me is the most.
That's the craziest thing, which I don't understand. If you're in the NFL, you shouldn't get a DUI.
No,
because
you should have people around you, or you should.
No, it doesn't matter. Uber. But that's the thing, Mike. You don't have to call it Uber. Right. The NFL have it set up to where they have security guards, ex-cops that drive SUVs, bulletproof, Bluetooth, like candy, snacks, everything. All you got to do in every location. So if there's a football team, they have it. All you have to do is call it, and you can drive. You can ride for free.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still for some reason these stupid fools get in the car. Like I truly don't, because you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to get an Uber. They have people for you to do this.
Right.
So I just really don't understand it. But looking at it, man, with the Raiders, I thought they were going to be where they are, regardless.
Right. I just meant like from an overall like disappointed. Like that's heartbreaking. Like with some of those situations.
Yes. And
would you say the 49ers are a little disappointing?
No, I don't.
You thought they were going to be where they are?
Yes.
See, I thought
I didn't think they were better than. I didn't think they were better than the Rams.
Right. No, I didn't either. But I thought it would have been like the idea of it is like with Trey Lance. I understand he's sitting, but I don't like the development with that is to where now Jimmy G's questionable and Trey Lance hasn't really done a lick of anything. So you really don't know what you have with that. And I felt like they kind of put themselves in this situation to where going into year 2 with Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo is probably not going to be there. You really don't know what you have with him. Whereas Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, you have a good idea of where these guys are at and where they're going. Mac Jones especially. But it's a situation to where they're going to get into the playoffs, and because of his lack of using Trey Lance, I felt like you really don't know what you have with that.
Yeah, but I think you do though, because it's practice. Like one thing about it is you could say even the same thing with Patrick Mahomes before he started. He didn't play. They went to the second round of the playoffs and they said, "Hey, we're gonna ride with Patrick Mahomes." So by riding with him, you see it practice and you know what he can and can't do. Of course, being a rookie, you know he's gonna make mistakes. I think the 49ers is because the quarterback play, you are an average team. You're gonna be in that fifth, sixth, seventh round, eighth of the NFC. Like I said, even Arizona, I think Arizona, they did good. They won the game they were supposed to win, but we had this conversation from the beginning. I always thought they was gonna fall off at the end.
Right.
I was like, hey, eventually you can't play like this forever. So, and I think that's the thing when I look at some of these teams, they kind of in the place where we expect them to be.
Right.
I mean, if you want to say most disappointing to a degree, gotta say the Vikings, because you in all the games except the last game we played Green Bay and everybody was hurt, COVID. You were winning at one point in time.
Yeah,
you were winning. Like there was a point in the game that you were winning. There was a point in the game at the end, going to the end, you were either up or you lost, and you lost games by 3 or 4 points.
Right.
I think that's one of the things. But other than that, I mean, I really truly believe that they are what they were, and the ones I did thought was disappointing. You look at the Broncos. I think the Broncos was disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Coach got fired. I never put Seahawks in that high category. I never thought they had the tools or the toys offensively to put up points.
Would you say Carolina's disappointing?
I would. You're right, because I had Carolina high. I think Matt Rule, I don't know what he wants to do, because he's talking about running the ball 35 times a game. Yeah, you fired your OC. You fired your OC who was in the running for head coaching jobs.
Right.
And then you say you want to run the ball.
You got no one to run the ball with, man. It's made
you got nobody to run the ball with 35 times a game.
Right.
So
and especially I would understand that if you were in a situation like the Bears. Like you say it all the time. You have Allen Robinson, a 1,000-yard wide receiver. But you have a quarterback right now that can't really throw the deep ball to an effective rate and throw with accuracy at that very moment. Now, Justin gets it done, but Justin doesn't get it done at a consistent level. Sam Darnold has Robbie Anderson. He has a bunch of other weapons out there. He has a bunch of guys who can catch the ball, and Sam Darnold can relatively throw the football. That's a common misconception. Like the kid can throw it. And you just don't utilize that whatsoever. So to have all of the weapons that you have and a quarterback that can actually do it, and that's the difference, Coach, when we're always talking about my Bears, is you have the weapons, but the quarterback's just not ready to pull those triggers. Now you have Sam Darnold, who just spent how many years with the Jets. He's been ready to have a trigger on him. He's been trigger happy for the last however many years. Like he wants to have a good, offensive system. And he finally has that. But once McCaffrey went down, this guy just shit the bed and just completely folded. And you traded for Gilmore, and it didn't do a single thing for you, not a single thing. So I thought it was very, very disappointing.
Yes, I truly agree with you. So what do you think about this? Now we're getting ready for the nitty gritty. This is where the season begins.
No more picks. This is my last week of losing.
No, this is different. This is where the season begins. Playoffs.
Right.
Chance to win the Super Bowl. It's either I want to hear chance or no chance out of the playoff teams.
All right.
We're gonna start with the AFC first. And also I'm gonna put
the AFC.
Also, I will put the Chargers, both Chargers, Raiders, and Steelers in just because we don't know.
I think we know about Pittsburgh.
So we'll start at the bottom. Pittsburgh, chance or no chance?
No chance. And honestly, I hope. Here's my boy Justin Chache. If you're listening to this, my dog from Chicago, diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I hope it hurts that you know the reason you're not going is because you couldn't beat the Detroit Lions. But we're gonna carry on. No chance. No chance.
I agree with you. No chance. I don't think they have a chance.
They beat the Lions, they make the playoffs. Like being real. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. That is true. The Las Vegas Raiders, chance or no chance?
Not a chance in hell.
I don't either. I don't see it. They're hot, even though technically they've been playing the playoffs the last 2 games. But I don't see it. I don't see them having a chance. Chargers, chance or no chance?
More of a chance than the other two, but no chance. We're talking like win Super Bowl?
Yes. Not make win the Super Bowl.
No chance. No chance. They're just not there yet.
Yep. I agree. I think the Chargers are soft. I didn't even think they're not even going to win today. Here we go. Indianapolis Colts. Chance or no chance?
I'm
gonna go first. Since you're thinking,
I'm gonna say chance.
I'm gonna say no chance. Here's why I'm gonna say no chance.
Go ahead.
I don't believe in the quarterback.
Right. That's where I'm very. You know what I mean?
I think they run the ball, but I don't think it not to win the Super Bowl. They don't have enough firepower because once you get in the playoffs, now Wentz has to throw the football at least. I don't think you should go see that game where Garoppolo, he threw the ball 10 times and made it to the Super Bowl. And I don't think they're
in Carson's defense, he's had a relatively pretty good season.
No, yeah. No, it's not that. It's the moment. Like technically you wouldn't even be in this position if you would have beat the Ravens, you would have beat Tennessee.
Right.
Like Tennessee, he threw a pick, he just chunked it.
Right, but like if you look at like I get like stats don't mean everything, but like he's only thrown 6 picks this year. He's 26-6. Like he has over 3,000 yards. Like he had a relatively like a 95% accuracy or something. Like he's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not knocking that, but I don't know 6 picks.
I hate Carson. I
don't know 6 picks. I guarantee you half of them is pick 6.
Probably.
That's the only thing. It's at the craziest times.
Right. They're bad looks. They are bad interceptions.
So here we go. New England, chance or no chance?
No chance right now. It's a great story. You know what I mean? It's something to definitely build off of. But nah.
I don't think so. I don't think so this year. I don't think so next year. But hey, you have a quarterback he's a game manager. You don't have a receiver that can beat the one-on-one matchup.
You get a real wide receiver or 2 next year, we can have a conversation.
But then you can't stop the run.
Right.
Everybody except Kansas City is going to pound that ball down your throat.
Right.
Here we go. Buffalo Bills. Chance or no chance?
No, right now they're still very one-dimensional. They haven't figured that out. I want to say Moss is their guy for the future, but I still think this offseason you should explore Christian McCaffrey trades. You should explore, because those are rumors going around right now that Christian McCaffrey's on the trade block. They came out this morning. Our boy Tony from the ASAP Network broke that one with a very interesting conversation for me to read in the morning. So thank you for that, Tony. That made me laugh. But he was basically saying like, what the F, you know, like he was like, what are you guys doing? Like that doesn't make any sense. You want to, like you just said, Coach, you want to run the ball 35 plus times. Now you're going to trade away Christian McCaffrey, probably for a 4th round pick or something.
Right, they get more than that. But
I don't think you'd get much more than that.
But also, what you got to realize.
Would you offer that?
Mm-hmm.
You'd offer more than a 4th round pick?
No.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting more than a 4th round pick for a guy made of glass. But yeah, back to Buffalo though. Nah. Defense is good, but nah.
It's not. I don't think it's not that he made of glass. I truly think that he needs to lose some weight.
You think?
I think because a lot of
he's a smaller guy too, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he was a smaller guy, but he put on a lot of weight.
Right.
And it's always his hamstring. It's like his lower body. So I'm just curious if he lose some weight, would he be more? If he comes back to at least close to what he played his first year and not his last 2 years, because he's put on a lot of weight.
Right. But I think the reason you see him putting on a lot of weight is people forget early on he was getting upper body injuries. He was getting shoulder nicks. He was getting bicep issues. He was getting pectoral issues. Like he just couldn't take the hits. So it's a weird balance right now. And I think when you're that size, someone who's similar to his height, it's a weird situation to where you really have to work on your entire body rather than just one aspect of it.
Yes. I agree. Cincinnati, chance or no chance?
Chance. Big chance. The chance. I have them going to the bowl.
Super Bowl?
I'll ride with that. I think they do.
Okay.
I think they do.
No chance.
Wow.
No chance. No chance. No chance. No chance. I think they're not there yet. And then when you look at it, why?
Yeah. Like, is it just experience?
That and I think we really live off of what you did last week. Like I said, go back to what we talked about the Cowboys.
Right.
When the Cowboys beat the Washington football team, they're going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Then when they lose to the Cardinals, oh my gosh, we're gonna get killed in the playoffs. Then they win last night. Oh, we're back. And you looked at them when they played Baltimore, and when they played Pittsburgh, and they put these crazy numbers up. I just truly feel now when you have to play, because you're gonna have to play Tennessee,
right?
And you know what Tennessee's gonna do. They're gonna pound that thing,
right?
Because you look at the games that they lost. They lost because they couldn't stop the run,
right?
And you could say, well, they beat Kansas City, yeah, but
Kansas City don't run the ball.
But Kansas City did a lot of crazy things. They were playing around.
They shot.
You can say what you want. Third and 20, and you run an all-out man blitz instead of just dropping to the zone. I truly believe they just try to see what they can and can't do. So I'm not on the bandwagon yet. I'm not on the train. Don't get me wrong. They did a great. Cincinnati did a lot of good things offensively. Defense doing their thing. I just not there sold on them yet.
Right.
I think Burrow is legit. I pick Burrow over a lot of quarterbacks in the AFC.
I do too.
And I like him because he got a little swag. He came out of Louisiana.
He really do though. He
got that. He had that I don't give a kind of attitude, which I love that. I love that right there because it's what you need.
Right.
So here we go. 11-5, lead the league in injuries. Still Still number 2. Not so good enough head coach because he's not good enough to be the head coach of the year.
No one said that.
Tennessee Titans, because I had a whole argument over it.
And
that man's coming back. That grown man.
No chance. I think the identity you have right now is very sound. You understand what it takes to win. They're doing it at a very high rate without Derrick Henry, which speaks volumes. Now, when you bring Derrick back in, that's different. I don't care whether you believe it or not. Like everyone in that room knows we should be feeding this kid the ball. If you have to punt the ball on 4th down, there's going to be people in that room that are saying we should just run the ball with Derrick. Derrick would have got us the first. Derrick would have done this. We need to start running the ball again. Pound the ball. But you found an identity now. And the problem with that is now you have to change that identity. Because prior to Henry going down, you were losing games. And Henry was rushing over 200 yards, sure. but you were losing games because you didn't have Ryan hot the entire game. Now, come the fourth quarter, Ryan's not ready to be that guy. Now, one, I don't know how healthy Derek is. Two, when he does come back, what is his role? Does he understand his role? Does Ryan Tannehill understand that he's going to be the number 2 guy again? Or is it vice versa? Is Ryan still going to be number 1 option of what you're doing in this offense? Or is Derek going to be number 2? Is he okay with that? There's a lot of fundamentals that as of right now, Coach, I can't tell you that I'm in on them, because when he comes back, it changes the established offense that you're running. And that's to me where it's like, it's the same concept with Klay Thompson going back to the Warriors. It's like, I know what you are, but we have so many other guys doing great things right now. When you do come back, I don't know if you're going to be more of an asset or you're going to take away from what we're doing. And you just, it's a wait and see. It could change very quickly, and I could literally come on this show next week and say they're legit if Derek plays well when he does come back. But until then, I'm not gonna ride with him like that.
I'm gonna say chance.
I see why.
Because you're 11-5, and Derrick Henry hasn't been playing,
right?
And he's not playing today, which is great because you're trying to rest him. Hopefully, if you win the game, you get another week off. And I think you're gonna release that hound. You're gonna say, hey, if the trainers, the doctors say, hey, he's great, the coach is gonna say, Derrick, how you feeling? Good to go, coach. And guess what? You about to touch this thing 25 times at least.
Right.
So, and everybody knows, I think everybody knows their role because they still tried to run the football regardless. Mm-hmm. And I think the coaching staff, I think when you're in the playoffs, it's not a thing. When you're in the playoffs, your focus is one thing. What can we do to win? Right. If that means I don't have to throw the ball but 2 times a game and we still win, no one cares. Because at the end of the day, you can't tell me right now what was Tom Brady's yardage in the Super Bowl last year.
Right.
Because you won.
Right.
That's what it's all about. When you get in the playoffs, it's about wins. It's about wins and what you did to mess us up not to win.
Right.
We can remember how many picks someone threw. We can remember if he fumbled the ball. We can remember if the defense gave up this many yards. But you can't remember nothing else because it was all about the win. So I truly believe that there's a chance that they have it. Because with all the injuries, with all of this, you're still the number 1 team in the AFC. I have to respect it. Kansas City Chiefs, chance or no chance?
I think they have a chance. I think they're running the same thing they've been running for years now, and the last few years. So I think you have to give them respect the same way you're giving Tampa respect, the same way you're giving Green Bay respect, and understanding that they've been in the playoffs for many years. So they understand what it takes. There's a lot of new faces in the playoffs this year, and honestly, even though Ryan Tannehill is not a new face, that Tennessee Titans offense, the way it's constructed, is a new face. Like Julio Jones is not battle tested in that way with this constructed team. So there's a lot of teams out there. Jalen Hurts, obviously. You have Josh Allen's a question mark. You have Joe Burrow, who's new here, and a lot of individuals who just aren't ready. And I think they can definitely take advantage of that and use that to their advantage. So I'd say there's a chance.
All right. I agree with you. I never doubted East Texas, boy. So therefore, we're gonna ride. You can shake your head all you want. We're gonna ride with them. There's always, I said it from the beginning when they were losing games. I said, pump your brakes, relax. Mm-hmm. They're just trying some stuff out. And that
was my thing. Like when that happened, you never heard me once crapping on Reed or Mahomes or any of them. What I said, this is the Patrick Mahomes you would see on the Texas Titans. That this is the Patrick Mahomes you would see Titans. I don't know why I said that. Houston Texans. Why am I the way I am? But this is the Patrick Mahomes you would see on the Chicago Bears. I was like, but this right here, this is just them messing around. Like they're just trying to see if something could stick. There was no longevity to it. So I'm happy they turned it around because Stephen A. Smith been real quiet since he made those claims they would never go back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't entertain. Man, to be honest with you, I can't tell you last time I watched first take. But anyway, moving on. NFC. I don't know why, but I don't know how the scenarios go. But you got the New Orleans Saints. Chance or no chance?
I'm sorry, Jim. I know Jim's watching, but no chance. There's just not. Michael Thomas hasn't been here in 2 years. He's still not back, so you don't have a quarterback. Ian Book. That's all I'm gonna say about Ian Book is, oh my God, close the book. Close the book very fast. You're on page 1, chapter 1, and I need you to close it. It's a bad book. But I see no shot with them. I love Sean Payton. I love Kamara. And I like that defense, but they are not ready.
Okay. 49ers.
No chance.
Why?
I just think what I noticed from all season, whether it be Elijah Mitchell, whether it be any other running back in that room, they can't stay healthy. They can't stay healthy for anything. So I think one of the biggest things right now is that defense has depleted a little bit. It's not as strong as it was in, I want to say 2018, I want to say is when they went to the Super Bowl. 2018, 2019, something like that. But it's a situation to where, I don't know. I just think Jimmy G's questionable right now. You don't know what you have with him. Your backup is a guy who's played probably 2-3 games, and that's spurts of 2-3 games, not full starts. So you really have to rely heavy on Elijah Mitchell, who hasn't been able to stay healthy all year. So and George Kittle, who also hasn't been able to stay healthy all year. So I like Ayuk, I like Debo, I like all the other individuals on the team. But I just don't think at this moment, in this point in time, that they're fully ready.
I agree with you. I think defensively, I think Shanahan have a great job of trying to mix everything up offensively. He's finding ways to get his players the ball. That's one thing about it. But still, when you get to the playoffs where all the defenses are pretty much top 15 at least, and you have to make those throws to win the game. So I'm gonna say there's no chance. And Philadelphia Eagles.
Nope.
That's it. Nope.
Nope.
I'm with you. I don't believe it. Last night showed it. I know a lot of people are out, but I just don't see it. So moving on. Arizona Cardinals.
I think there's a chance. And you have to respect them for who they are. The biggest thing to me, the biggest question mark, is James Conner. Is because James Conner was a big part of why you were starting to win these games again after that slump. Now that James Conner is doing his yearly exit, he leaves. He takes vacation days a lot. Like, he is gone, and it's no shot at James. He just can't remain healthy. And it's very unfortunate because, Coach, you and I have talked about this a lot of time. I feel like he's a cancer survivor. And when you go through leukemia and when you go through all of these radiation stuff, it does weaken your body. So we never saw James Conner have body issues prior to getting cancer. And now you're starting to see he's a lot more easily banged up. He can't really maintain the NFL status of just taking hit after hit. And I think a big part of that is what that does to your body. So when I always bring that up because it's it's not like a Christian McCaffrey where it's just, you just need to lose some weight. You know what I mean? Like, this is something I don't think he can control. And it's unfortunate, but I think it does ride a lot into what makes them go. And D-Hop isn't 100%. We've never seen Kyler Murray finish 100%. J.J. Watt will not be there. So there's a lot of guys that they might be missing. So I don't know how much validity they have, but I'll say there's a shooter shot. Like, there's a chance. You're muted, Coach.
My bad. No, I don't think so. I think that maybe depending, and it's all about the seeding. Truly believe.
Yeah, like there's a shooter shot that you get lucky, but if first round is Tampa or first round is the Rams or whatever it may be, nah.
Yes, because right now if everything ends as it is right now, it'll be the Cowboys. So then I have them first, second round out, just because it's just depending on the seeding. If they win, the Rams lose, and you go from there. So Tampa Bay, not Tampa Bay. I'm sorry, Dallas Cowboys. Watch what you say. They watching.
No chance. I'm sorry. My big thing is your best corner on that team gets burnt 90% of the time that he's on the field. And that's just the truth to it. In the regular season, Trevon Diggs is great for, statistically, like what it is. But in the playoffs, if you're going up against, now you won't because, obviously injuries happened. But when there's these powerhouses like Tampa with Godwin, Evans, and Gronk and AB and so on and so forth, you can't have Trevon Diggs, not playing man. Like that should not be allowed. Like you need to get in zone, you need to do your thing, because he is not ready for that. He will get burnt. Devontae Adams will burn you. If they bring in AB, will burn you. Lazard will burn you. And it's just in a situation like that, when you have Cooper Kupp, you have Odell Beckham Jr., you have a bunch of guys, you have Kirk, Hopkins, others, then you're talking Debo, Ayuk, you got Kittle, like you got a lot of guys, and Diggs isn't ready for that. And it's mainly the defense, I think, that isn't ready for it. And the way Zeke has been playing, you got to pray on Dak. You got to pray on Dak being healthy, and you got to pray on Dak, just being himself, because it's going to take a lot.
I say no chance. Only reason I say why is no chance is because you have the top 4 teams in the playoffs can beat the Cowboys. They're fit to beat the Cowboys in the style. Like I said, one of the biggest issues is you can't put any pressure up the middle.
Right.
You have to put pressure up the middle. Second issue is you can't run the ball. And Dak, I don't know what it is because later this season, I don't know if his arm is tired. A lot of balls are being thrown behind quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest take on it. Again, depending on the seeding, how it goes, I say no chance. Because guess what? If they stay as is now, second round, guess who you have to play? Green Bay. And y'all, for some reason, hate. Y'all always do terrible in Green Bay.
I'll just leave it at this. It was a catch. That's all I'm going to say, Coach. It was a
you
catch.
can say it was a catch, but for some reason, they always do. They're just terrible in Green Bay.
It was a catch.
Here we go. Them Tampa Bay, them Bucks. Chance or no chance?
I'm sorry, Coach. I can't. No. Chance because of his name, Tom Brady. Not because of anything Bruce Arians is doing. Not because of anything Tampa has going on. You lost Godwin. You lost AB. There's always a question mark when it comes to Gronk's health and Leonard Fournette's health. Evans is a little banged up too. And being completely honest, Evans and Tom are the worst matchup for me is because they don't have the greatest chemistry. Whether it's going throughout the season. Now, off the field, maybe they are boys, but on the field, they haven't been connecting like that. The defense, I think, would be fine. It's really just if they can neutralize Mike Evans, a defense that being, I think you can win the game. And that's the problem is before it was, well, there's Godwin out there, there's AB, there's Gronk, there's OJ Howard, there's all these other individuals. Now Leonard Fournette, you do have to count in Leonard Fournette, Fournette, that's Rob's favorite thing to say. Gronkowski always saying it because he had 4 touchdowns in a single game. Like kid's a dog, and he's stuck in Jacksonville, and now he's reminding you that he's a dog. But it's a situation to where they're so banged up, you just don't know. But because it's Tom Brady, I'm gonna give him a chance.
I give him a chance.
I'll give you a chance.
Here's why I give you a chance. The best thing that ever happened was AB. Here's why. Let me finish.
I hear you, but
let me finish. You want to know why? Who you think sparked that second half comeback?
Tom Brady.
And AB.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
You want to know why? Listen, when
you weren't even there.
Time out. I'm gonna tell you why. When they scored and they went up, what did Brian Leftwich do? What did he do?
Against who?
It doesn't matter. See, you can't. It doesn't. See, We
It
can't.
does, though.
No. You can't say it. Oh, well, it's because of who they're playing. What
It
I'm
does,
asking you,
though.
what I'm asking you right now, doesn't matter. When they won the game, what did Brian Leftwich do? He went to Tom Brady. He said, "Good job." They was pumped up. They was fired. Here's another reason. AB said that this. He said that the receiver core sucks. He said Gronk sucks. He said Tom Brady just had me because of me. He said Mike Evans was terrible. I'm the best player. I'm this. I'm that. What do you think would happen? That's motivation. Like everybody keeps saying, well, this guy's out. They're out because we already made the playoffs. We're resting. We're resting.
Godwin's ACL is
Godwin's the only one. Godwin's the only one. We have 3-4 guys that's gonna make up for Godwin.
AB's resting too, huh?
AB's gone.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. The only team that can stop us, to beat really legit stop us, is the New Orleans Saints, and they're not even. They don't have a chance to make it. I've said it from the beginning. That was the only team that I was afraid of.
I don't know, Coach. Looking a little shaky, my guy.
So again, I truly believe that, and I'm being honest with everything. So I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna say chance.
I'll say chance. It's Tom. I'll say chance.
Los Angeles Rams, chance or no chance?
You gotta say chance because of just the name brand. But is there any? I don't know.
No, I just know. I just read what the company said. Hey, you right. Tom Brady he smashed tablets. He be smashing tablets.
He do be smashing tablets. They definitely need to upgrade his sponsorship because that can't go on much longer. There's gonna be some negative feedback from Apple, but it's something to where with Cam Akers coming back, I think that changes everything. Even if it's not a big name, I think that makes you two-dimensional offensively, and I think that's why Stafford's been playing so poor. Is because teams can just solely focus on Stafford. Now you have Cam Akers, you have Michelle, you have Henderson, you have a three-headed monster and guys who can all do their thing. You obviously have Odell, you have what's his name? What am I tweaking? It's not Cooper Kupp. It's the other kid, the tight end. Higbee. You have Higbee. You have Cooper Kupp. You have Stafford. You're doing your thing. Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. Like, you should be able to do this. And they've been to a Super Bowl before. So I will give them the shooter's chance. Now, to do it is a different conversation because Matthew Stafford's never been there, even been in this situation. So I think there's a shot, but they'll only go as far as Stafford takes them.
I truly believe when you start talking about the playoffs, it's all about quarterback play. And I know everybody says what the defense is. You got these guys.
Right.
They have a chance. But again, I think the Rams is one of those things. It's all about the matchups.
Right.
I think the NFC is legitimately about how you match up against each other. AFC is more so whoever had that Sunday.
Right.
But the NFC is a lot more matchups. So moving on to the last game, Green Bay. Who do you have?
Man, that's tough. No chance. I'm sorry. No. Like I'm not gonna sit here though and say it's because I'm a Bears fan. I'm gonna sit here and say it's exactly for what I've been watching. And the last 4 NFC Championship games with Green Bay, it is the same constructed roster, and they are not even close to changing that. And that's why I said if you get a B, I'll give it to you. Like you can go over the hump, but they haven't added anybody. If anything, you lost somebody when your starting tight end who led the league in receptions last year went down with an ACL tear. So now you're down another guy. There's nothing to me that changed. Even the Cardinals, the Rams, the Bucks got better. Everybody got better. You just maintain the same. Sure, you're the number 1 seed, but you always were the number 1 seed. So that doesn't really do anything for me. Like you're a great regular season team. But coming down the line of it, now you have the rumors of, Aaron Rodgers might hold out just because he doesn't, whatever the situation is about not playing in the Super Bowl if he makes it because of the vaccine situation, it's like that. The fact that it's even a conversation rather than it having any truth to it is like that shouldn't be a conversation that's being had right now. Like, it's a distraction. So it's definitely something to where I don't think there's a chance. Get AB though. Get AB and I'm there.
No, I think they have a chance. Just because you got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers give you a chance. But I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to need help for the simple fact of the matter. He's not the guy, I believe, that's going to put it on his shoulders.
Right. And he's hurt. I'll give him that.
He's going to make, he needs people around him to make the plays. Like, one thing about Aaron Rodgers is great talent, but he doesn't make the plays when needed. You just say, F it, let's go do it. I'm going to go do it myself. So, moving on. Hey, this week we're going to do a little bit different than what we usually do with the picks. There's no point in picking every game because the fact of the matter is a lot of teams don't even care anymore. You'll see a lot of players, like last night, take the Eagles. A lot of players were out just because they already made the playoffs. So all we're going to pick is pretty much teams that can make the playoffs and seeding wise.
Yeah.
So here we go. Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. Who do you have?
Lamar in? I don't know if Lamar's in.
No, Lamar's not in.
I'm going to say Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Baltimore. I think what's his name does a great job, so I'm gonna ride with him. So
yeah, I like the dog, but
so I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I think the rookie quarterback, I like him. I'm curious, anxious to see how much they're gonna pay him to stay, and is he gonna get a look from somewhere else? Buffalo versus the Jets.
Buffalo.
Yes.
Buffalo.
I got Buffalo. Indianapolis versus Jacksonville. Crazy. I didn't even know this. Jacksonville has beat Indianapolis. Last time the Colts won was 2015 in Jacksonville.
Colts. By a large margin.
I'm going to ride with the Colts because I picked them to do some things in the playoffs. We are in Vegas versus Chargers.
I'm gonna say Vegas. I love Justin Herbert, but I'm gonna Derek Carr is on a different wave right now.
Oh, I'm riding with the Raiders, like you.
Yeah.
Regardless of the situation, I think the Chargers is still a little hype. So I'm riding with the Raiders. New England versus Miami. That's pretty much seeding wise.
I'm gonna say Miami.
What? I never would have thought you would have said that. So I'm very shocked. That's who I got. I'm riding with Miami. Now going to the NFC. This is pretty much seeding wise. You have Arizona versus Seahawks.
Come on. Arizona.
Yes, sir. I'm riding with Arizona as well. You have, which is a very good game, Los Angeles Rams versus the 49ers.
I'm going to say 49ers. I think they pull it out.
I want to see the 49ers win just to see chaos.
Yeah, that's why I want to see it.
I just want to see some chaos.
Because if they beat the Rams this late in the year, there's a serious conversation about them making they might have to change my pick on chance or no chance.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Hey, last game, because somebody had said it earlier. They asked us. I'm going back. Let me find where it said. Let me find out. Boom. Monday night game. Who you got and why?
Come on, man. Gotta go Bama. Gotta go Bama. You hate to see it, but you gotta go Bama.
I have Alabama winning. I had it from the beginning. I don't think Georgia's defense is a good run-stopping defense, but not against the
They don't run the ball.
And Bama can't really run the ball like that. They have a young staff, young receiver core, and O-line. So Bennett did good. He did a lot of great things, but I don't think they could he can do it against Bama. So I'm riding with Bama.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Week 17 in the books. Hope y'all enjoy the games. Hope you enjoy the playoff games coming up next week. Mike, any last words?
Fire Nagy.
There you go. Hey, we out. I'm gonna say it, hey, just like this. All you haters about Tampa Bay, hey, don't believe
Coach.
Coach. Don't believe us, just watch.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a place. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.